Here's a story we got from WBTV. This is funny. 30,000 students actually absent Monday from Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, despite initial reports, officials say. The initial report was that 20,000 students were absent. 20,000 students were absent. What we're hearing is two different things. The first is that these are students who walked out in protest. They are angry over these raids in Charlotte's Web, they call it. We're actually hearing rumors that it's because many of these kids are from illegal families. They're the children of illegal immigrants, and they're hiding. Some have argued, are there really this many students? Not all 30,000, but are there really that many illegal immigrant students that you see a portion of this as people hiding and fleeing?
I could see that.
There was another report. Someone posted the traffic in Charlotte, and it was all green. And DHS tweeted something like, "You're welcome." This is exactly what we saw in California. And the liberals tried denying it, saying it's not true. The traffic is just fine sometimes. It seems like when DHS goes into an area to arrest illegal immigrants, traffic gets better. I suppose that might indicate what you were saying earlier in the show, that you think the number is actually substantially greater.
I think so. Especially, I mean, if you go back a little bit further, it's not enough. I mean, it's a good place to start. You got to start somewhere. But it's not enough just to look at the last 4 years under the auto pen and say we want to right that ship. There's a ton of people who are not Americans. I mean, we have politicians. We have, people in Congress, people in the Senate who are not Americans. I mean, like Ilhan Omar.
It's pretty crazy.
She doesn't just need to be unseated. She needs to be deported.
Denaturalized. And the question is, look, I'll say the Star Tribune, and this is a quote, said she may have married her brother.
Right.
That's not me. That's not my opinion. Star Tribune said she may have married her brother. They wrote that, meaning there is evidence she did. It's not been proven in a court of law, but that would disqualify her. That is perfectly within the denaturalization and deportation proceedings in this country. Here's the post from Homeland Security. You got Charlotte Suburbia. Look at that. No traffic.
Nice.
No traffic. And they put, "You're welcome." Now, the interesting thing is, we've seen this before. I think it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this doesn't mean the roads are empty. It just means there's less.
Right.
Less cars.
Yes.
So that means the people who live and work in Charlotte, who aren't illegal, just drove to work very quickly.
Right. And had a great day. But so that's traffic. When you think of all the different elements that would change, like think about people who are waiting for a kidney transplant. Think about hospital waits. Think, showing up to the emergency room. Think about food banks. Think about how it would affect, of course, taxes, welfare and all those kinds of things. And then you think about traffic. You think about housing prices, right? So you have an entire generation that is hopeless, right? Gen Z, I mean, all of them pretty much just... I mean, you talk to any young person under the age of 25, under the age of 35, honestly, and say, "Hey, do you think you'll ever own a home?" And they just, they'll just laugh, or maybe cry, depending what mood they're in that day, But but when you think about in Texas, in my state, if you got rid of all the immigrants that have come based off of, projections and, and suspicions, just over the last, let's say 5 to 6 years, what it would do for the housing market, that amount of, it's just simple supply and demand. You're talking about prices coming down 30, 40%, house prices. So you're talking about home ownership. You're talking about jobs, certainly, being able to get a job. Talking about hospitals. You're talking about medicine. You're talking about traffic. Think about grocery prices. If we actually did what they're talking about with SNAP and make sure it's not being abused and all these different things, what you're talking about is being able to have a country. The reason we don't have a country right now, and you have entire generations of people that are completely disenchanted and hopeless, is because we've chosen the world over America. We've chosen the immigrant over the citizen.
Have you seen the show Pluribus?
I've heard of it.
Watch it. I've been talking about it quite a bit because I think it's relevant, as it basically is saying, give up. The world is over. you will live a lonely life where you talk to nothing but the AI.
You don't think that's too deep? I've watched the first 3 episodes. That kind of is a heck of an interpretation.
There's a scene in the 3rd episode where she says, of the people who are not integrated,
The 11.
that don't speak English,
Oh.
are there any, she said, are any of these people experts or scientists or doctors? And the Hive person goes, yes, Takeshi is an excellent udon noodle chef. And she goes, what? That's not what I asked. That interaction was clearly a sign of AI. AI doesn't understand so it's like she asked it, are there any experts in science, because she wants to undo the Hive? Yeah. And it responded with, he makes noodles. AI does this all the time.
He's an expert at noodles.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't understand the context. Now, any actual human hive mind with the summation of human knowledge would literally understand it. Or it hands her a hand grenade.
Yeah.
And they're like, we weren't sure if you were sarcastic. That's an AI response. A single human of any culture would understand saying nothing. She said something like, there's not a thing in this world that would make my life better, save a hand grenade. And they're like, okay, here you go. Clearly, they're making a reference to the AI. Now, I bring this up because we were talking earlier about universal income, what this country is going to be. And it seems like our leaders are ignoring everything you're saying and driving pedal to the metal to building data centers. Mm-hmm. I think all of this stuff we're looking at is them dangling the keys to our left. So we're all jumping up and down and swatting at them while they are shutting down our refineries, building data centers, buying up properties, and planning to go full AI hive, where you're going to live in the pod, eat the bugs, and plug your brain into the matrix.
You'll own nothing and be happy.
Exactly.
And they're building...
which is a feudal serf situation. That's kind of what I'm saying. And here's again, not a prescription. I'm not saying I like that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's even biblical or anything like that. But it does feel inevitable. And what would make that, I think it's bad in a lot of ways. What would make it like suicidal, a whole different degree of bad, unlivable, is if you have that plus globalism. To me, it seems like the only thing that saves us, other than Jesus Christ, is a strong sense of nationalism. Call it America first, America only, whatever you want to call it. But if you're looking at America being the piggy bank of the world, right? That universal income is going to Afghanistan. It's going everywhere. You're importing the world and exporting all of our resources. Then there's not a snowflake's chance in hell of survival. But if there was a tight boundary, we actually got non-Americans out. We actually prefer Americans, heritage Americans, real Americans. And then we win the race against whatever, China or this, that, or the other when it comes to AI, because that's the rhetoric. That's the argument. Well, if we don't do it, they'll do it and they'll be worse and blah, blah, blah. So there's no brakes on this is what I'm saying. There's no brakes. Nobody's going to slow down the train. Nobody's going to stop and ponder the questions, because some guys are pondering the questions, but they're being told to shut up because, China won't ponder the questions, or, Taiwan won't ponder the question. Russia won't ponder the questions. And so my point is, like, there's a race for survival, and I feel like if you're going to do that, I already have some very, very serious concerns. But at least if you're going to launch the shuttle into the stratosphere, at least close the hatch. Stop. Give us borders, get rid of non-Americans, get rid of non-Americans in Congress, in our leadership, with our politicians, an American-only mentality. I think that Matt Walsh is right. I think that guys who have been saying that, and that doesn't mean that we can't ever help one day in the future, but it's saying, look, our own ship has a massive leak. We've got to fix things at home before we care about our neighbors, across the ocean. A 50-year moratorium on immigration, a 50-year, we don't help anybody, no foreign aid, we're not starting wars, we're not finishing wars. Like, there's Christian Nigerians are being slaughtered right now. I'm a Christian. They are my brothers in Christ. I'm also, though, at the same time, a white American. I love my wife. I love my children. I think I would love to see the day when America could step in. Nicki Minaj was talking about this, and, it's certainly not the worst thing she's ever said. It's one of the better things, so God bless her. I'm not a full-on isolationist for all times and all places. This isn't a timeless principle I'm espousing. It's a timely one. And there is a difference. I would like to see us get to a point where we can say, you know what? They're killing Nigerian Christians. We don't care what color they are. Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in His sight. We're going to send some troops. And let's be honest, it's not that many. You got guys who throw rocks, and then you've got Americans, right? So we're going to go in, send some troops, and we're going to say, I'm sorry, and I'd like to see a Crusader flag, on our way in. Like the slaughter of Christians must stop in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and these United States, and stop it. But right now, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that one day. Right now, we've got to save home base. We're in trouble.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.